Good evening, everyone. We'll call the City of Homestead City Council meeting to order. Today is Wednesday, June 17th, 2020, and it is 5:54 p.m. Pursuant to Executive Order 20-69 issued by Governor DeSantis and the City of Homestead local state of emergency due to COVID-19, this will be a virtual council meeting. The virtual meeting can be viewed live on the City Access channel or live streamed at www.cityofhomestead.com/public meeting. The public may also participate live during the virtual meeting utilizing video conference via WebEx events or via toll-free conference call number. Please go to www.cityofhomestead.com/calendar for specific details and instructions on participation using video and telephonic conferencing. The city will be accepting public comments as part of the virtual meeting, which can be emailed to publiccomments@cityofhomestead.com. Public comments are limited to 300 words per comment. Public comments on specific agenda items should include your name, address, item you would like to comment on, and your comment. That comment can be submitted up until noon on Tuesday, June 16th, 2020, and reviewed by council as part of the record. General public comments, which should include your name, address, and your comment, can be submitted up until 30 minutes after the end of the virtual council meeting and will be included in the minutes. Further details and instructions concerning public participation in the virtual meeting are referenced in the City of Homestead Virtual Meetings Quick Start Guide located on the city's website. So with that, and I want to go ahead and add that 12 general comments have been previously submitted and have been provided to the council and will be made part of the public record. There has been a request that at least one of those comments be read publicly into this record. We will not do that. It will be available. If, you know, the old story, if I do one, I've got to do them all. That's not the purpose of this. They can be found online and will be included in the minutes for this meeting when those minutes are posted online. My apologies, and I know that we'll all be back here going at it next month. One way or the other, we're all going to be here next month. All right, with that, Madam Clerk, can you confirm that all are present with the exception of Councilman Fletcher? Councilman, so all council members and the mayor are present for this meeting?
Yes, Mr. Mayor.
Okay. Are there any deletions, additions, or deferrals?
Mr. Mayor.
None. Okay. Next item are tabs.
Mr. Mayor.
What's that? Yes, Mr. Fletcher?
Yeah, I am present. I'm having some technical difficulties, but I can hear everything fine.
I'm sorry, did y'all catch that? Oh, okay. Okay, good. Thank you. All right, so item 4, the consent agenda, tabs 1 through 6. Do we have a motion to approve the consent agenda? Moved by Councilman Shelley. Was that Councilwoman Bailey trying to weigh in?
Yes.
Okay, so you get credit for the second. All right. Any further comment from council on the consent agenda? Would any council member like to be recorded as a no vote on the consent agenda? None appearing, the record will reflect that the consent agenda was unanimously approved. Next item, public hearings, ordinances, land use items. So is that to you, Mr. Pearl, or Mr. White? Who's here?
Mayor, this is James White. Can you hear me?
We can, yes.
Okay, this is the quasi-judicial section of your agenda. Please be advised the following items on the agenda are quasi-judicial in nature. If you wish to comment upon any of these items, please indicate the item number you would like to address when the announcement regarding the quasi-judicial item is made. An opportunity for persons to speak on each item will be made available after the applicant and staff have made their presentations on each item. Swearing in, all testimony, including public testimony and evidence, will be made under oath or affirmation. Additionally, each person who gives testimony may be subject to cross-examination. If you do not wish to be either cross-examined or sworn, your testimony will be given its due weight. The general public will not be permitted to cross-examine witnesses, but the public may request the counsel to ask questions of staff or witnesses on their behalf. The full agenda packet on each item is entered into the record. Persons representing organizations must present evidence of their authority to speak for the organization. Further details of the quasi-judicial procedures may be obtained from the clerk. In accordance with Code Section 2-591, any lobbyist must register before addressing the council on any of the following items. At this time, I would ask council members to disclose any ex parte communications concerning tab 7 or tab 8 on the agenda.
Counsel? No disclosures on either tab 7 or tab 8. Okay. Mr. White?
Okay, hearing no further comments at this time, anyone wishing to speak on tab 7 or tab 8, please raise your right hand to be sworn. Do you swear or affirm to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do.
I do.
I do.
Very well.
Thank you.
Tab 7.
Oh, go ahead.
Tab 7 this evening is related to a final plat approval. It's a resolution of the City Council of the City of Homestead, Florida, granting a final plat approval requested by LENNAR Homes, LLC, for the development of a 770 dwelling unit residential subdivision on an approximately 84.96 acre parcel of land located within the existing Villages of Homestead Development Regional Impact, west to southwest 152nd Avenue, between South Canal Drive and Palm Drive, as legally described in Exhibit A and providing for an effective date.
Thank you. Mr. Cordino?
Yes, sir. Thank you very much. The staff recommends that the mayor and council approve the attached resolution for a final plat approval. The applicant is Keysgate 3 Trust, and they've requested this final plat approval for the 84.96 acres of residential land. The request is, we've reviewed it, it's consistent with the criteria set forth in our City Code, Chapter 25, Subdivisions and Platting, and Miami-Dade County Code, Chapter 28, Subdivisions, and Chapter 177, Part 1, Platting of the Florida statutes. If you recall, on April 17th, 2019, the City of Homestead Council approved the site plan and tentative plat for the requests for the development of the property here, pursuant to the resolutions in the book. Essentially, what we're doing here is we're approving a final plat. A final plat is what happens is a T-plat, tentative plat, and a site plan come at the same time. The final plat is largely ministerial because all we're doing is confirming that the lines on the plat, which is basically a survey of the entire property, matches the tentative plat. Nothing has changed from the tentative plat to the final plat. They're all the same. If a tentative plat were to have changed, it would have to come back for your approval as a tentative plat. And so we're really just confirming that the tentative plat and this thing match exactly. That's what we've done, and I'm here for any questions that you may have.
Thank you. Are there any initial questions from council on tab 7, the final plat for LENNAR Homes LLC?
Yes, Mr. Mayor.
Yes, please, Mr. Fletcher.
Now, hopefully everyone can hear me okay. I just have a couple of questions in regards to some of the deceleration lanes that were initially in the initial proposal, and also an exit from the south piece of property. I don't have a problem approving the plat as is, but I did have a discussion earlier today with one of the LENNAR folks in regards to some residential inquiries over the past 5 or 6 days. And it doesn't seem like we have taken into effect, into some of our considerations, some public safety issues that need to be addressed. Initially, on Kingman Road, on the southbound lanes entering into, Centergate Drive. There's some fire plugs that have been installed that would cause where we wouldn't be able to install a deceleration lane moving into that area. And there's also only one entrance and exit to the property on the south of Centergate Drive. And I think we need to look at that. You know, with those discussions with one of the LENNAR individuals, they would be willing to possibly have some future plat changes, but would like to discuss that and get their input if possible.
We reviewed the email that we received last week, and it had issues and concerns relative to the cleanliness of the site, some drainage control structures, and then some zoning matters, whether the site was being constructed according to the site plan. Code enforcement was out there, and I believe Chris can expand on it, but they did cite or catch some issues with the cleanliness of the site, and those are being addressed right now. The drainage and environmental structures were temporarily removed for the construction of some pillars, and they're being put back. And we've checked the site plan with the way they're doing the construction, and everything they're doing out there is conforms to the site plan, so there are no issues. Obviously, the fire plugs need to go down first because they're deeper underground. Nothing's paved. I don't see any real issues with the timing that they're putting things in, or maintenance of traffic issues or anything of that nature. But we're going to monitor that site on a constant basis, week to week, and make sure that if they go off the rails, we'll be there to make sure it doesn't get too far off.
Thank you. Did that take care of your concern, Mr. Fletcher?
Not necessarily. I again have some issues that I can't really tell from these drawings that I have in the black and white versions. But there seems to not be a deceleration lane on the southbound entry lanes entering into the Kingman Drive on the drawings I'm looking at. And from a public safety standpoint, that's one of the busiest intersections we have on the east side of town in the morning. And now you're going to have 200 plus units on the south side of Kingman Drive. I'm sorry, the south side of Centergate, that are going to put a potential, 300 to 500 cars on that same road as folks leaving Centergate. So I think we have to look at the as a whole. But again, initial plan showed a deceleration lane, which is not shown on the drawing that I have here. And there was also an additional exit point on the south end that has now been turned into a park, I believe. So I'm sorry we're not able to be in person so we can look at this with everyone at the same time, but I think we need to look at these areas for improvement. But I am willing to move forward with the plat if the applicant is willing to look at possibly changing the plat in the future.
Mr. Mayor, you go on. That I'd like to speak.
Please go ahead.
Okay, thank you. Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Hugo Arza, officer of 701 I'm joining you this evening, joined by my colleagues, Amanda Nalgis, and Zach Griffin of LENNAR. I just to address Councilman Fletcher's question. We did receive an inquiry from Development Services staff about the location of some of the fire equipment out there. What we were told was that there is some equipment that is right now in areas that will have a turn lane and that do have a turn lane in the plan. Since the turn lane has not yet been constructed at a large development site, a number of temporary installations in areas that, as the project moves along, will then be moved to accommodate what the site plan reflects. So, in fact, yes, right now as it stands, there may be areas where someone who goes out there may see a piece of fire equipment, a hydrant, that would interfere with the turn lane. However, the turn lane will come in, the turn lane will be built, and obviously at that point, the fire hydrant will be relocated. It's not uncommon, as it explained to me, not having obviously a construction background per se, it's not uncommon for job sites to have equipment and installations, fire installations in different locations during construction, and then as the construction evolves and progresses, for that to be moved into its final location. So, you know, from the big picture, we have no concerns with having further conversations as we move forward, you know, showing or delineating where this is all going to go. I share Councilman Fletcher's same concern that we're obviously not in the same location to be able to look at what he's looking at right now. So I can't point my finger to, you know, whether he's just, you know, looking at that he needs to look at a different document or a different plan. But what you do have is a commitment from LENNAR Homes that I think was articulated earlier today to Councilman Fletcher, and which I'm happy to make here today, that we would be happy to sit down with staff and work through and look through any of these concerns that they may have moving forward. But we do, and I appreciate the councilman's words about moving forward this evening and not wanting to in any way delay the final plat. We are ready. This was an item that was scheduled to be before you in April, and we are ready to move forward this evening. We have closings prepared and ready for July. After your, what we hope is a favorable approval this evening, this will go to the county for its final plat punch list, and then gets recorded in the public records. That still takes a couple, 2-3 more weeks anyway, and we need to move, you know, through this evening with your support so that we can still hit our target date and move in new members to your community, new residents and new families who have already purchased homes and have scheduled closing dates for July. So LENNAR's excited. They're obviously they've been in this community for a long time, and we will be happy to work with your staff and with Councilman Fletcher to address any questions moving forward. But again, we would respectfully ask for your approval here this evening. I know there's a presentation I previously sent. Staff may be getting ready to play that, but I did want to answer Councilman Fletcher's question.
Thank you, Mr. Arza. Mr. Fletcher, any further?
No, sir, I'm satisfied with Councilor Arza's answer, and I look forward to having additional discussion.
Thank you. As best I could tell, what I got out of what I could understand from what Mr. Arza was saying, I recognized there were some issues and they were going to remediate them. Is that an accurate thumbnail sketch, Mr. Cordino?
Yes, and what we both said the same thing. The construction is proceeding as per the site plan. There's nothing happening that when this is all wrapped up that is not per the site plan. Everything that is on the site plan will be constructed where it's supposed to be constructed. He did mention that the fire hydrants, they put them in temporarily sometimes and they move them as construction proceeds, but they won't interfere with any of the lanes that are out there whatsoever.
So then I guess my concern is that our enforcement of that would come at CO time.
We're going out there now on a regular basis and looking at we have our inspectors out there on a regular basis.
That's an inspection issue, not a final plat issue.
Yeah, all that stuff is building. There's nothing that the plat is dealing with that really has anything to do with the site plan or the construction. This final plat matches the tentative plat, and so there are two disconnected issues.
Thank you, Mr. Cordino.
You're welcome.
I'm advised that the applicant has a presentation. Is this a video presentation that needs to be done? Is this as good a time as any to go ahead and do that before we hear further from council? So I guess we'll go ahead and have that video presentation.
Good evening. This is Hugo Arza with law offices at 701 Brickell Avenue, joined by my colleague Amanda Naljiff, and we represent Lennar Homes LLC in its final plat application for the Keysgate residential subdivision. The application site consists of approximately 85 acres on the west side of Southwest 152nd Avenue, also known as Kingman Road. The property is between generally South Canal and Palm Drives and also straddles both the north and south sides of Town Center Boulevard. Originally comprised of 4 parcels, these parcels have been combined into one project and into one plat that you have before you this evening. The property is a part of the Villages of Homestead DRI and as such has been approved in accordance with those regulations. In April of 2019, the City Council approved a site plan and tentative plat for the development of this property. Since that date, Lennar Homes has undertaken efforts to develop the property, site work, earthwork, all county approvals required, has secured approval of the tentative plat, and in fact has constructed homes and is prepared to conduct its first closings on this property in July of this year. In addition to all of the earthwork and construction necessary for the development of the project, Lennar has also complied with all of the other resolution conditions at the time of approval, and in fact, in particular, an entrance on the southerly side of Town Center Boulevard out to Kingman Road had been requested to be closed if approved by the county, and I am happy to say that in fact it was approved by the county. And as you look at this approved site plan right now, you will see that in the southeasterly corner of the project, south of Town Center Boulevard, there is now an open green space area where an entrance used to be. The council had believed back in April of last year that that entrance might conflict with the school operations of the school on the other side of Kingman, and we are happy to report today that the county was accepting of our option to close that entrance, and that what you have before you in terms of the final plat is a final plat that will not have an entrance at that location. In April of 2019, in addition to the site plan approval, the council also approved a tentative plat. Tentative plats will contain the list of criteria that you see, swale areas, sidewalks, and the like, all in locations that match the site plan, again, with the one exception that we've already pointed out, where the site plan did request the closure of that southerly entrance on Kingman, south of Town Center Boulevard, which we have been able to accomplish and carry over into this final plat. The tentative plat, after being approved by the City of Homestead in April of 2019, was approved by the Plat Committee of Miami-Dade County, and Lennar has complied with all of the conditions that the county has imposed upon them, which is why we're able to come back to you with a final plat at this time. The final plat was submitted to the city in October of 2019 and has been reviewed by the Cordino Group, longitude surveyors, and approved by the Development Review Committee on February 18, 2020. It also enjoys staff's recommendation of approval for you this evening. We were originally scheduled to come before you in April, but obviously due to the coronavirus delays and public hearing deferrals, we are now before you in June. It is important for Lennar to move forward this evening, and I want to thank staff, your development services staff, the manager's office, and the city attorney's office for their efforts in getting this application onto your agenda this evening. Lennar is prepared to have closings on this property next month in July that require this plat to be recorded. If we are fortunate to have your approval this evening, go to the county for final plat recordation and final plat punch list items to be checked off, and we anticipate that process to take anywhere from 2 to 4 weeks, thus allowing us the time necessary to be able to have closings in July. In closing, again, I want to thank staff for all of their efforts in getting this item onto the agenda. We are happy to answer any questions that you may have. It is obviously not the normal standard type of application where we all get to be in a room together, and I am looking forward to seeing all of you very soon. But I do thank you for your time during these difficult and trying times in taking up this application. Happy to answer any questions that you may have, and if not, we thank you for your support this evening.
Thank you, Mr. Arza. First, I would ask if there are any questions from council on this matter. Any questions from council? All right, I want to go on then to questions from the public, and I've got to read a statement to those who may wish to weigh in from the public, that if you are logged in on your computer, please raise your hand to be acknowledged to speak about this item. And that's the virtual raising of a hand, the tab. When acknowledged, please provide your name and address for the record. If you are logged in by telephone and would like to speak regarding an item, please press *3 to raise your hand to be acknowledged. When you are acknowledged, please provide your name and address for the record. Press *3 to put your hand down. So is there any member of the public who would wish to speak on this matter? I have a computer screen in front of me, and I see that Mr. Panos has his hand up, and we'll acknowledge him. And Mr. Panos, please first acknowledge that you were sworn in and proceed.
I was, yes. Thank you, Mayor Losner, City Councilwoman, City Councilman. Thanks for hearing me. This is unusual. However, we're getting through it. And yes, of course, Mr. Gonzalez historically and his team have been highly amenable in fostering a great relationship with the community and its neighbors. I believe and have every confidence LENNAR is committed to delivering and upholding highest and best standards for our community. I urge the council to approve applicant's request to approve final plat given the items discussed. And I know that any problems going forward that LENNAR is committed to working with us. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Panos. Is there any other member of the public who would wish to weigh in? At this point, I do not see any hands virtually raised. It's funny, though, I do see a little icon that when I float the arrow over it, it says, "This participant is not paying attention." You know, that's really weird. I'm sorry. We can watch you dozing off from here, but when you're at home and it tells me you're not paying attention, we've gone way too far with technology. Well, then I'll close the public hearing and entertain a motion for approval.
Move.
Moved by Councilman Roth.
Mr. Mayor.
Councilman Fletcher? Yes. Was he seconding?
Yes, no, I'd like to add one additional thought if I could.
Please proceed.
Thank you. I understand Councilman Roth has placed a motion in order, but I would like to ask that we motion that this council will move approval for this item with a request to replat consideration contingent on approval. So with that being said, just a discussion that we had earlier with Mr. Arza that they would work with us in the future if we had to make some minor changes for inclusion into this plat.
Did everyone get, we didn't quite follow you, Mr. Fletcher. Can you run that by us again, please?
So I would respectfully request that replat consideration be given contingent on approval of this issue tonight. So move approval, but again, with the,
Replat of, I think that's the break in our understanding there.
Mayor,
I'm having a few technical issues.
Mayor, this is Hugo Arza. May I?
Yes.
Mayor, I think for Councilman Fletcher, maybe it'd be a little cleaner to say we would be, as I expressed already, we're going to look into any of these concerns regarding the deceleration lane or the southeast entrance on Kingman and work with the city. If a change has to be made, we at LENNAR will undertake at its own cost whatever replat if necessary. And it's possible we wouldn't have to, so I don't want to necessarily suggest that we would have to, but if we, in consultation with the city, determine that something additional needs to be done and that results in a replat or any kind of revised permitting or anything of that nature, LENNAR would be happy to bear that cost as we move forward, but we would move forward with the final plat approval this evening. Councilman Fletcher, you were breaking up. Would that be would that work for you? Does that explanation work, and would that suffice?
Yes, that would be good.
Mr. Fletcher, are you satisfied with Mr. Arza's suggestion?
Yes, Mr. Mayor, I'm satisfied with Mr. Arza's suggestion.
Thank you. Let me just say I applaud your creativity, but I don't think the approval of a final plat can be contingent on anything else. Good shot, though. All right. So we still need a second to Mr. Roth's motion to approve the final plat.
Second.
We have a second. Was that Councilwoman Bailey?
Vice Mayor.
Oh, I'm sorry. Thank you. Seconded by the Vice Mayor. So we have a motion and a second for approval of the final plat. Any further questions or comments from council? Okay, I'll just add that although I was not a public official at the time, I have weighed in that I oppose this in terms of density, mix of housing, and transfer of units. And if there's one thing I despise in politics, that's hypocrisy, and I cannot vote in the affirmative for this matter, given my prior, on the record, but not as a public official, opposition to this development. So, Madam Clerk, roll call vote?
Councilman Roth?
Yes.
Councilman Fletcher?
Yes.
Councilwoman Avila?
Yes.
Councilman Shelley? Councilwoman Bailey?
Yes.
Vice Mayor Faircloth Staggers?
Yes.
Mayor Losner?
No.
The motion carries.
Thank you. All right. Next item. Tab 8. Mr. White?
Yes, moving on to tab 8. Tab 8 is a resolution of the City Council of the City of Homestead, Florida, granting the final plat approval requested by STOR-ALL, Northeast 8th Street LLC, for the development of a 184,735 square foot self-storage facility on an approximately 3.99 acre parcel of land located at 1977 Northeast 8th Street, Homestead, Florida, as legally described in Exhibit A and providing for an effective date.
Thank you. Mr. Cordino?
Yes, sir. Staff recommends the mayor and council approve the attached resolution for the final plat for the STOR-ALL self-storage facility. On October 17th, 2018, the city council approved both the site plan and the tentative plat requests. We've reviewed the tentative plat to the city code, chapter 25, the county code, chapter 28, and the state code, and the plat's in conformance, and we're recommending approval.
Thank you, Mr. Corradino. Do we have a presentation from the applicant? All right, let's go ahead and do that before we have questions from council or the public.
Hello, my name is Daniel Rodriguez from Longitude Surveyors, representing STOR-ALL Acquisitions LLC for the final plat for PH 2020-03 STOR-ALL Development Site. This is a resubmittal addressing all the previous comments from the original submittal. Thank you and have yourselves a great day.
Thank you. All right, do we have any questions from council? None appearing, I'll open the public hearing, and I'll have to read the statement again, that if you are a member of the public and you are logged on to your computer, please raise your hand, virtually raise your hand to be acknowledged to speak about this item. When acknowledged, please provide your name and address for the record. If you are logged in by telephone and would like to speak regarding an item, please press *3 to virtually raise your hand to be acknowledged. When you are acknowledged, please provide your name and address for the record, and then you need to press *3 to put your hand down. So do we have anyone from the public who would like to speak on this matter? I don't see anyone from the public. So is there anyone out there from the public that would like to speak on this matter? Going once, going twice? All right. So I'll close the public hearing and entertain a motion for approval of this item.
Move it.
Moved by Councilwoman Avila,
Second.
seconded by, I believe that was Councilwoman Bailey.
I think Bailey and I sound alike. It's Vice Mayor.
I'm sorry, you do. You can say that, or I can say that now that you've said it. But you do. You sound a lot alike when it's just a short burst of speaking. All right. So we have a motion and second for approval. Is there any final comments from council? Roll call vote.
Councilman Shelley? Yes. Councilwoman Bailey?
Yes.
Councilman Roth?
Yes.
Councilman Fletcher?
Yes.
Councilwoman Avila?
Yes.
Vice Mayor Fairclough Stigers?
Yes.
Mayor Losner?
Yes.
Motion carries.
Thank you. Next item, the manager.
Thank you, Mayor. On June 12, 2020, the City Manager's Office was notified of a water main in conflict with the road expansion work being performed by FDOT as part of the Campbell Drive Truck Bypass Project that needed to be relocated as soon as possible in order to minimize any delays to the project. Due to the nature of the emergency, the City Manager's Office, under Section 2-413, Emergency Purchases, has the authority that an emergency purchase order be issued to the Redland Company, which was the lowest quote, for $53,400. This is an emergency purchase notification to council by staff as required by City of Homestead Code of Ordinances, Section 2-413, Emergency Purchases. And Mayor, this is the emergency purchase that we've previously notified council of via email, and as required by the code, we have to bring it to the next council meeting, which is what we're doing. No council action is needed.
Thank you. The question, though, is this on us? I mean, it's not our project. It's just, you and I would put it in terms of somebody didn't do their due diligence, but do we pay the price for someone else's failure to locate underground utilities?
Mr. Mayor, we actually came into an agreement with FDOT about 2 years ago that we would be responsible to go ahead and relocate the utilities.
Well, it's not the answer I wanted to hear, but thank you anyway. Right. Are we getting close to the end of the project where these sleeping giants may not come about?
In regards to the Campbell project, that one's scheduled to be completed in March of 2021, and the one in Chrome is scheduled to be completed by the end of this year.
But in terms of
where
they are in destruction, it appears that they're almost to the end of the project limits from Chrome to US 1.
On the Campbell project, they're close to finishing the south side of Campbell, and then they're going to be moving towards the north side of Campbell.
Okay, gotcha.
So they're about halfway through.
Okay, very good. Thank you. And we'll keep our fingers crossed that we don't have any more of these these discussions. Anything further, our manager?
No, thank you, Mayor. Nothing further.
Anything from the city attorneys?
Yes, Mr. Mayor, I'd like to announce an executive session in the matter of Noah Floyd v. City of Homestead in Miami-Dade. It's case number 2020-008077. Thank you.
Thank you. You all figure out a way to do it, and we'll have it. All right, Councilwoman Avila?
Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you. Councilwoman Bailey?
Thank you, Mayor. I just wanted to let everyone know that along with the Southwest Advisory Committee, we are planning a few virtual community discussions. We also have some of the resources we would have otherwise provided through Art Walk Homestead. It will all be listed on our website, and we were working on a flyer that will put together all of the different resources that the city is providing at this time. We have 6 food distributions through the Department of Agriculture, so we feel like that would be a great place to get the news out of the different programs that we have available. So if anyone has any ideas on anything additional to add, I would greatly appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilwoman Bailey. Councilman Roth?
Thank you, Mayor. Just one announcement, the power of prayer. Our community is coming together in prayer. Everyone is welcome. Many local pastors, preachers, and religious leaders will be praying with us. It will be next Tuesday, June 23rd, 6 p.m. at Blakey Park, and everyone is invited to come out. We'll be praying for our community, our strength, and all of humanity. We are all one. We are human. Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you, Councilman Roth. Councilman Fletcher? Did he drop off? Councilman Fletcher? Either he's on mute or, okay. Councilman Shelley? Thank you, Councilman. Vice Mayor Fairclough Staggers?
Yes, give me 1 second.
Mayor, if you can round back after me.
Okay, thank you, Mayor. We all know it's been trying times in the African American community as a result of the tragic and unfortunate death of George Floyd. I just wanted to read my statement into the record, if I may. I stand together with my Black and Brown community in the fight against injustices that plague us. The death of George Floyd, Breonna Taylor, Ahmaud Arbery, Trayvon Martin, Michael Garner, Eric Garner, Michael Brown continues to shine a spotlight on the systemic racial discrimination, bias, brutality that has destroyed so many African American lives. I am committed to working with my colleagues and the community to help break down these long-standing systems of oppression and use my position to advance equality and inclusion. I feel that we don't win as a nation until we all win the right to lead a life without fear, retaliation, being harassed, maimed, or even murdered for simply existing and for the color of our skin. I stand in solidarity with the entire community in peacefully and respectfully expressing anguish over these tragic deaths, and I pledge to proactively work to remold the status quo to one that values Black lives. Today we collectively mourn, and so we elevate our voices to demand a better tomorrow. We must do better because today in the African American community, after over 400 years, we still can't breathe. In addition to a statement, a Facebook post, and a press release, I think that in order to effectuate real change, that we must come up with action steps in order to bridge the racial parity that African American community has experienced. And I'm encouraged that businesses, nonprofits, organizations around the world has reinvested into the Black community to help bridge that divide. So some of the areas that I challenge us to work towards together is in the areas of education empowerment. What resources are we providing our children to ensure that we are placing them on the path to success and propelling them to plateaus of promise? Looking at mentoring, aligning with the Big Brothers Big Sisters in Miami program so that we are mentoring those fragile families in the community. Health and wellness. COVID-19 has disproportionately impacted the African American community. There are so many underlying health conditions that made many of us in the African community susceptible to COVID-19. So I want to look at health and wellness, police reform, looking at our standard operating procedures for use of force and roles and responsibilities of all sworn enforcement personnel to really reflect on where we are and if some type of changes must be made. Reinstituting the Bigs and Blue program at West Homestead K-8 Center, where our police officers are paired with children from West Homestead Elementary. Looking at our Police Explorer program to recruit more African American males of color to participate in that program, and having a conversation about body cameras and where everyone stands on that and what our next steps are. Home ownership attainment, partnering with nonprofits to help Black families in the quest to become homeowners. And economic development, small business creation, partnering with the local chamber, talking with the CRA to determine if there can be startup funds for those African Americans in the community who want to open up businesses. I really want this to not rest on my shoulders because I'm the only African American on council, but for all of us to work together collectively to move the needle towards racial parity. I truly believe that we are genuinely stronger together, and we need to come together and not be silent on this issue. Although it is a very difficult and uncomfortable conversation to have regarding this, I think it is a very necessary conversation that we all should have, and we should work together on this. If you are interested in working with me on any of these issues, I welcome the support, and our assistants can coordinate those meetings, those sunshine meetings, so that we can talk and potentially each one of us tackle one of these areas so that in the city of Homestead, we can definitely say, beyond press releases and statements, that we are actually working toward healing some of the wounds that African Americans continue to face, to include myself. I look forward to working with all of you on this mission. Thank you so much, Mayor.
Thank you, Vice Mayor. Councilwoman Avila?
Us collaborate and come up with more solutions to these challenges. Myself and my husband both recently personally became Big Brother, Big Sister participants, and I definitely would love to focus on the education aspects and the Police Explorer, and the nonprofit sector has a lot to offer as well. I want to take this opportunity to congratulate all of the high school seniors who received scholarships from the local nonprofits here in Homestead. It's really awesome to see how our community continues to do good works behind closed doors during quarantine, during social distancing, and during the mayhem that is going on in the world right now. I want to specifically recognize the Homestead Rotary Club for their donations and the Kiwanis Club of Homestead South Dade, of which I'm proud to claim membership to, for their donations as well. The children of our community are our future. So thank you for investing in them, and I'm honored to have played a role in that process. And for the many families that continue to face hardship and adversity through this pandemic, please reach out to us. Your council is here to guide you, to point you in the right direction for resources and for assistance. We have information readily available to share with you relating to rental assistance, utility assistance, food drives, local nonprofits offering assistance in the community, as well as many grants for qualified businesses. Please know that your council is hard at work every day to meet the needs of our community. And I want to close with wishing everybody a safe and fun 4th of July. May God bless our country, our community, and all of our men and women who continue to serve and protect our freedoms, both in the military and with our police. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilwoman. Let's circle back to Councilman Fletcher. Are you with us? Would you like to, do you have any comments? Oh, okay. Well, thank you to all of you for your comments and reflecting on the past few weeks and certainly the COVID issues. I think back to that, the financial issues that the city faced as an entity in 2001 and the overall financial crisis and the socioeconomic upheaval of 2008. I'll throw Hurricane Andrew in there, whatever else. All of those combined pale in comparison to the issues, and more importantly, the opportunities facing our community and this council. And I think that when working separately, remotely, and when we can all return to this room, we will have many hours of many additional meetings focusing on the multi-layers of issues that have always faced our community, but now through the health issues and there's no, I struggle for words to adequately describe the events in Minneapolis that kick this off. It's just abhorrent. It's murder. It was, whatever you want to call it. And these issues have been dropped in our laps and on our heads. And I know that working as a council and with this community, we will rise above that. And as I like to say recently, these things didn't happen overnight, and we're not going to solve them overnight. But years hence, I'm confident that people will look back and acknowledge that we took the lead and really worked together to remedy a lot of the injustice, to put that aside and move forward as a truly unified and colorblind community. So with that, I will entertain a motion for adjournment. Moved by Councilman Shelley.
Second.
Second by the Vice Mayor. All in favor? Aye.
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 Thank you all for being here. Meeting adjourned.